Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is December 23rd, 2024. And Jorge Mendes has offered Christopher Nkunku to Barcelona. Also, a big offer coming out of Brazil for Vitor Roque. And finally, we are only days away from Wojciech Szczęsny's debut. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. This is the Barca News live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where we not only discuss Barcelona news, but where I also get to interact with you, lovely people in the chat section, by reading your comments, answering your questions, and getting a discussion going. For those of you who'll be watching when the podcast ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description and chapters in the timeline in case you do wanna skip through the discussion and get straight to the news. Having said all that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to hit the Goal Kids, Kickback, or Fanatics, especially with Christmas tomorrow. For those of you to celebrate on the 24th, in 2 days, for those of you who'll be celebrate on the 25th. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you hit to Bet Us. All links are in the description. You click on them, you'll be supporting this channel, but you would also be helping yourself because you do get access to some pretty cool deals and offers. But anyways, let's begin with the news. And as always, the first segment of news has multiple bits of news combined together because they're too small to be their own segment. It's starting with that FC Barcelona have announced that they have hired a new member for the board of directors, whose name is Cisco Pujol. It's the guy that you see on your screen shaking Jean Laporta's hand. He's a businessman with 30 years of experience in different areas of business, including real estate, renewable energy and recycling, agriculture and livestock, hospitality. This guy's pretty much has done it all. And most recently, he was the president of Club Esportiu, I think that's how you say it in Catalan, EFAC Almacelles. It's pretty much a football club in 5th division of the Spanish league. So that was his latest job, the president of that football club. And now Barcelona have announced that they have hired him. Again, his name is Cisco Pujol. And by the way, Barcelona have not announced what his role will be. They will announce it shortly, whatever it may be. If he can help the club, if he can help, the board of directors navigate the club during these difficult times and out of this financial hole that we're in, then I'm all for it. Welcome to the club, Cisco Pujol. Please get back to work. Or start work because we have a lot of work to do. Anyways, the next bit of section is speaking of doing work. The club today published the following picture and video. The one on the left, that would be on your left of your screen, is the picture. And the right is a screenshot of the video that I took because, of course, I can't show you the video. If I do, I get flagged for copyrights. And Barcelona has already flagged me for copyrights and took my money. But that's okay because the club is going through a difficult financial situation. So take that as a donation. But anyways, the club today posted an update on Marc Bernal's recovery. As you know, he suffered a serious injury, torn meniscus. I think it was the meniscus or maybe an ACL. He tore a ligament in his knee. He had to undergo surgery. Of course, a very, very serious injury. It takes almost a year to recover. And the good news is, well, he no longer wearing that. It wasn't really a cast. It was more like a knee support or a knee brace. He's no longer using his crutches. And instead, he is now training with the coaches at the gym. The latest update we knew about Marc Bernal is that he had started his physiotherapy in the water. And now I guess he's progressed beyond the water to the actual gym where he's doing exercises to strengthen that knee and to, get back into shape. He's still working with Barcelona's physios and conditioning coaches. And that, of course, is good news as our young midfielder, who unfortunately only had a few matches this season, who impressed all of us during those very few matches, continues his long and arduous recovery, the road of recovery, which, of course, unfortunately will not be able to see him until next season. But, of course, we do wish him the best in his recovery. Now, speaking of injuries, the last bit of news is about a guy who's always injured. That's his favorite thing. Ansu injured Fati, or no, I think I like Ansu injured. Or is it? I don't know. We'll have to come up with a nickname for Ansu Fati since he's always injured. But the news about Ansu Fati is that he has requested to train during the Christmas break. Now, all players, of course, have several days off for Christmas and New Year's. And Ansu Fati has requested permission to train during those days. The club has agreed, and they're going to provide him with physios and conditioning coaches. Sucks for those coaches, by the way, who now don't have Christmas break. Whatever. I'm sure they're making a lot of money. But the club will provide physio and conditioning coaches to Ansu Fati during these vacation days because Ansu Fati wants to continue training because he wants to be ready for the second half of the season where he believes he can contribute to the team. Now, look, I was one of the first people who used to always say, I believe that Ansu can get his form back. I believe. But after so many chances, I've honestly lost hope that Ansu Fati will ever be who he was before his injury. But look, if the guy wants to train, if he wants to be ready, if he's fully committed to helping the squad, I'm all for it. We'll see what happens during the second half. Who knows? Maybe he does end up impressing us or at least contributing something. But I've lost all hope on Ansu, unfortunately, recovering his form. But if he can, come off the bench every now and then, maybe score a goal here or there, maybe help, rest some players, I'm all for it. Anyways, that is all the news for the first segment. Now let's do the chat section, and then we will talk about Christopher Nkunku. By the way, how fun is it to say Nkunku? That's a really fun name. All right, let's see what is everyone saying. Not the Gamer says, I see Roque starting for Betis more than he is benched, so I guess he's doing something right. He's doing something right for being a Real Betis player. I'm still not impressed. I don't think he's a Barca level player. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he eventually, ends up proving us all wrong, but I don't know. I just don't see it. I think he's a fine player for a team like Betis, but not so much for a team like Barcelona. Lucy says, hello, Mo. Happy to catch up with the live. I will really love Nkunku at the club. Thanks. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your comment. And we do have a donation. Baby Scumbag, thank you so much, my friend, for your generosity. A Baby Scumbag says, Flick's Barca is dominating every team and losing due to poor finishing. Most of the games last season under Xabi were unbearable to watch, and we got away with a lot. Enough disrespect towards Hansi. I agree with you 100%. The team now plays a million times better than how they played under Xabi Hernandez. And yet people are like, oh, Flick out. I see some articles comparing stats like, oh, at this point of the season, Xabi had 40 points or 41 points and Flick has 38. And therefore, Xabi is better. Look, those stats are as useful as the dump I took right before I went live. Took a huge dump, by the way. Massive. I ate a lot. Took a huge dump. Those stats are just as useful as that big dump that I just took because this whole arbitrary, if we look at the even number matches of La Liga, technically Barcelona would be in 10th place. And if we look at the odd numbers of matches, Leganés would be champions of Europe. It's like, what? No, you don't get to look at these numbers like, oh, since Barcelona beat Madrid, they would be 6 based on how many points they've gotten. Okay, and if we only looked at the matches before Real Madrid victory, Barcelona would be champions. Like, what the fuck is your point? There is no point. It's garbage. You wait until the end of La Liga and then you compare. You don't do this whole where at this point, Xabi was actually combing his hair twice a day while Flick is only combing his hair every other day. Like, let's stop with the nonsense. Flick's Barca is a million times better than Hansi Flick's Barca. Than Xabi Hernandez's Barca. It's evident. You can see it even when we lose. Even when we lost against Atletico Madrid, Barcelona played better than any match under Xabi Hernandez. Under Xabi, whenever the team played well is when we were all like, whoa, what just happened? Like, the team just played well. Like, we were surprised whenever we saw a good performance by Barca, which was a handful of times the entire season. Now we're surprised when Barcelona doesn't do well. You see the difference? So let's stop with the nonsense. Let's stop with Flick out. People defended Xabi for almost 3 years, and now Flick has been 3 months at the club, and everybody's like, "Oh, flick out, flick out." That's unfortunately is the reality of Barcelona fans. Very impatient, very unrealistic, a little bit delusional. They think real life is like playing a video game. Things take time, and Flick just got here, and the team is already 10 times better than what they were before under Xabi for 2.5 years. But anyways, thank you for your donation, my friend. And let's do one more comment. Excuse me. And then we will talk about Nkunku. Let's see. John Williams says, "Hi Mo, please. How do I stream Barca live games on my Windows 10?" Well, I don't know where you are, but if you're in the US and Canada, you would need a subscription to ESPN Plus, and that's how you can watch Barcelona matches. If you're not in the US or Canada, I don't know. You would have to figure out who is the provider of La Liga matches in your area, and then you would need, I don't know if there's a subscription to that provider or if there's a satellite. Now, if you're talking about watching the matches, streaming them illegally, A, I don't know. B, even if I knew, I would never promote that, because streaming illegal matches illegally only hurts your club, because that's TV revenue that your club is not getting. But anyways, let's get back to the news, because we do have to talk about the big news today, which is that Jorge Mendes, the super Asian Jorge Mendes, has offered Christopher Nkunku to Barcelona. Now, that 27-year-old attacking midfielder had an absolute huge explosion at Leipzig, where he was an absolute star, killing it in the Bundesliga, one of the best players in the Bundesliga. And that, of course, attracted the attention of Chelsea, who ended up paying 80 million euros for the French player. Took him to Chelsea. He had a good start in the Premier League, but then, Chelsea has been going through all kinds of craziness, changing coaches every other day, signing 50 players every other weekend. And through all that mess, Nkunku has seen his minutes getting reduced more and more, and he has seen his importance getting, reduced more and more at Chelsea. And as such, he is looking to leave. In fact, Napoli had reached out to Chelsea to see if they can take the player on loan, because after all, Nkunku does have a contract until 2029. And his market value is 50 million euros. So a contract that expires in 4 years, it's, either Chelsea's not going to want to sell him, or if they do, they're going to want a lot of money. So, Napoli seeing if they can take the player on loan. Now, Jorge Mendes, who's the Asian of Nkunku, has gotten tired of seeing his player losing importance at Chelsea. And since there is the chance of Nkunku leaving on loan, he said, hey, if he can leave on loan, I'd rather him go to Barcelona. And as such, Jorge Mendes has offered Nkunku to the club, because Mendes is very much aware that Barcelona desperately need someone on the left, a left winger. And even though Nkunku is technically an attacking midfielder, he's someone who can also play as a left winger. He can also play through the middle, by the way, as a center forward. So therefore, Mendes has offered the player to Barca. Now, this for now is something that Mendes has offered to Barcelona. It doesn't mean that Barcelona are interested. I'm not saying that Barcelona are not interested. The news only is that Mendes picked up the phone and said, hey, Barca, I know you need someone for the left. I have this guy. His name is Nkunku. He doesn't have much minutes. He's looking to leave. What do you guys think? Barcelona, of course, said, we'll think about it. We'll let you know. We'll see whether this is someone that Barcelona could consider. And, of course, the one big advantage of this is it will be on loan. So Barcelona would not have to make a huge investment, which is something that Barcelona cannot afford at the moment. So they could bring him on loan in the winter and, help the team. I don't know. I haven't followed Nkunku's career so much. I've seen some of his highlights at Leipzig. From what I saw, I kind of liked him. He looked like a player who had a lot of speed, a lot of speed, very fast player, dribbling abilities, good goal scoring abilities. But to be honest, I've only seen highlights. I've never seen a full match of his. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be some kind of Nkunku expert and tell you what he can provide to Barcelona or not. But if you guys have seen him, if you have seen any of his Leipzig matches or any of his Chelsea matches, let me know in the chat section or in the comment section. Do you think Nkunku would be a good option for Barcelona? Yes, no, why not? Let me know. I'm very curious to hear about it. Anyways, let's get back to the comment section, and then we will talk about Vitor Roque, because there is some interest in the Brazilian player. All right. Shamar says, hey, Mo, do you think Barca should use Dani Rodriguez on the left wing? I've watched him playing, and honestly, he's really good, but I want to hear your thoughts. Yes, actually, that's one thing I said when Lamine got injured. I said, this is the time to be brave, and this is the time to bring up someone like Dani Rodriguez, because he is the same profile as Lamine Yamal. And again, when I say profile, a lot of people don't seem to understand what a profile is. Profile is, it means attributes. Doesn't mean the same skill level. I'm not saying Dani Rodriguez is as good as Lamine Yamal. That would be something very stupid of me to say, because he obviously is not. Same profile as a winger who knows how to dribble past players, who knows how to stretch out the field, knows how to make those deep runs into the back line and then cross it into the box, those dangerous crosses that come from the back line. That's what same profile means. That means they can do the same thing. Doesn't mean they are just as good. I don't know why. Every time I mention the word profile, people go nuts. So Dani Rodriguez has a very similar profile to Lamine Yamal, a dribbling winger. And that's who we should put. This whole trying out Ferran, who doesn't have those dribbling skills, Fermin, who's a midfielder, I don't understand it. I think it's time to bet on players like Dani Rodriguez. I know it's risky because he's a third division player. And, jumping to the first division is a big jump. It affects players. The ball moves a lot faster. Your reaction has to be a lot faster, and it takes time to get used to that increased speed of play. I know he just came back from injury. So again, even if at his best form, he could play in first division, he's not going to be at his best form because he just came back from injury. So I know it's risky, but that's the thing about, being brave, right? Is you have to take these big risks. Now, of course, it wasn't perhaps a good risk to take against someone like Atletico Madrid, because obviously that's a big match, and to put a third division player and put all that pressure on him and expect him to perform against such a big opponent in such an important match now. But maybe, and in this next few upcoming matches, like, why not against Barbastro? They're, I think, a third or fourth division team in la Copa del Rey, right? Maybe give him some minutes in the semifinal of the Spanish Super Cup against Athletic Club de Bilbao. Why not? And if not, maybe put him in the first. I can't remember who we're playing first in La Liga, but I think now is the time to do those bets. Bring in those players who have that profile versus wasting your time on like trying Ferran or Fermin, which is not their profile. Ade says Nkunku would be a good signing for Barca. Marc Bernal, our boy, is coming back strong. Nice to be here. Life Fado. Yes. I'm very excited about Bernal. Recovery, getting stronger. Hopefully, pretty soon, he'll be back. Unfortunately, it's not going to be till next season. But Nkunku, again, it wouldn't be a full signing. It would be a loan. But still, I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts. What do you think about Nkunku? And Kule, excuse me. Ooh. I don't know what's going on with him today. I hope I'm not getting sick. But Kule 767 says Ansu, Ferran, Balde, Fermin, Martin, Garcia, Lewa, Frankie all need to get binned in the summer. Fan base has lowered our standards protecting these average players. Well, I don't think anyone's protecting Ansu, Ferran. I think everybody agrees that those two need to leave. As far as Balde, I don't see it. I think Balde is an excellent left back with lots of potential. The reason why he's constantly getting exposed is because he has to cover the entire left side of the field by himself. He doesn't have a left winger to help him. Fermin, I think Fermin is a great player to come off the bench in the midfield, which is his position. Martin, he's a Barca Athletic player. You can't expect him to all of a sudden be a first division player overnight. I think that's a little bit delusional. Garcia, I agree it's time for him to leave. I think he's a good bench player, but given how many CBs we have, how many DMs we have, there's no need for him. Lewa, I mean, he's a top scorer in La Liga and the Champions League. So I don't see why not keep him. Frankie de Jong, it's time for him to leave because he's been so inconsistent for so many years. His salary is absolutely insane, and he doesn't even have the courtesy of picking up the phone and answering Barcelona's calls, at least to say, no, I don't want to renew. Stop calling me. Like, at least pick up the phone and say that. You don't have to renew, but at least say, hey, I don't want to renew, versus just ignoring the calls for over a year. All right, let's go back to the news because we do have to talk about Vitor Roque, the Barcelona center forward who is currently on loan with Real Betis, because it looks like there's a big offer out there for him. Lots of interest, and this is coming from Palmeiras. It looks like Palmeiras are looking to make Vitor Roque their star center forward. They want to, they're ready to invest a lot of money in him, sign him, and make him their starting center forward and make him kind of like the star of their team. And they're willing to pay 20 to 25 million euros for him. Now, that's a lot of money for a club in Brazil to be offering for a player. Usually it's Brazilian clubs selling players for that much or more, not so much paying for them that much. So it looks like Palmeiras are very, very serious about signing Vitor Roque, especially if they're willing to offer that much money. But of course, the problem is Vitor Roque is not looking to go back to Brazil, right? The whole point of him coming to Europe is that it's an improvement, it's a promotion, it's a next step up, it's a level up, whatever you want to call it. And going back to Brazil, he sees it more as a downgrade, which, of course, with all due respect to the Brazilian league, very exciting league, by the way, if you haven't seen it. I watch it every now and then. It's still a downgrade to go from Europe back to Brazil, unless, of course, you're towards the end of your career and you're like, fuck it, I want to go home and play there. Or if you're towards the end of or if you're like have no other options, right? But Roque has options. He can stay at Real Betis. He can always come back to Barcelona, even though Barcelona doesn't really want him, but he does have a contract, so he could come back and just sit on the bench and collect the money. But that's the news. Palmeiras willing to offer 20 million euros for him, 20 to 25. Maybe even throw in there some variables, but the player not too fond of going back to Brazil. Now, I still think that the club owe us a big, huge freaking explanation. Because what happened with Vitor Roque is absolutely unacceptable. Because we were sold on the idea that Vitor Roque was this next best thing, greatest thing to come out of Brazil. He was going to come to Barcelona, be Lewandowski's heir, and he was going to be this huge star who's going to be the starting center forward for Barcelona for many, many years to come. And not only did it not happen, because he didn't get a single minute play because he just couldn't prove himself, I don't even see it at Real Betis where he is getting minutes. So we need a huge, huge explanation of what the hell happened with Vitor Roque. Because if he is as good as these scouts claim, then why did we loan him? Why did we get rid of him? Why didn't we give him more time at Barcelona to adapt? Now, if he's not as good as they told us, then why the hell did you pay 30 million euros for him plus 35 in variables? Someone needs to explain what the hell happened with Vitor Roque. Where were these scouts getting their reports from to where as soon as he landed in Barcelona, everybody at the club were like, okay, this guy's not as good as you guys told us. So who was in charge of this? Who are the scouts who supposedly saw the potential in him? We need an explanation because, again, turned out not to be as good as they told us. And even if he is as good as they told us, but he needs time, then why aren't we giving him time? Someone needs to explain what the hell happened with Roque, because paying 30 million euros for a player to come to your club just so you can loan him out immediately, and now talks about him even going back to Brazil. What the fuck? That's just, you could have saved yourself all the time, the contract signing and everything. Just went straight to the bank, withdrew 30 million euros, put it in a bag, walked into the Mediterranean Sea and just threw the bag in there. Because it's pretty much the same thing that what we did. Just threw 30 million euros down the drain. All right, let's get back to the chat section. And then we are going to talk about Wojciech Szczęsny. Not the Gamer says those stats are more dumb than expected goals. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning about that. Expected goals. By the way, expected goal wasn't really a statistic that was ever looked at. It's something that just started popping out this last 2-3 seasons. For the longest time, no one talked about. But expected goals is the dumbest fucking statistic I've ever fucking seen. What the fuck is an expected goal? You either score a goal or you don't. What the fuck is an expected goal? Hey, I expect to make $1 billion this year. But did you make it? No. I expect to own 10 Lamborghinis by next month. But do I Do I have that capability of doing it? No. What the fuck is an expected goal? Someone explain to me, because I always see, oh, well, we had our expected goal ratio was 3. Who gives a shit? You scored none. And this is a statistic that Xabi loved to use, by the way, in his press conferences. He would come out after Barcelona played like shit, and he would be like, well, our expected goal. Dude, I don't care if the expected goals is 100. If you scored 0, it's fucking meaningless. Sorry, I get very passionate about this dumbass statistic, but whenever I see expected goals, I just want to throw something at whoever is mentioning it. All right, let's see. Blauranas says Flick is good coach. Give him some young hunger striker, a left winger, and he will win at Trebel. What I've seen from the team during those matches where the team played horribly against Las Palmas, Leganés, etc., is not so much that we needed this player or that player. It was a whole team just dropping their intensity. And again, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I strongly believe that after that 3 months of the team just being absolutely the best in Europe, demolishing every opposition, I really think they lost their humility, and they just started thinking, we don't have to try against smaller clubs, against smaller teams, right? Because, I just beat Bayern by 4-1. I just beat Madrid 4-0. I just came back from a long streak of 5-0s, 5-1, 7-0. Like, I don't have to try against teams like Leganés and Las Palmas, right? Like, I'm too good for that. And you could see it. You could see get a split screen and watch Leganés match and watch Atletico Madrid match and tell me that's the same team. It's not. So it's not so much that we're missing this position. Don't get me wrong. We need a left winger, but that's not why Barcelona are struggling. Barcelona are struggling because the players cannot seem to motivate themselves against smaller teams. They think they're too good for them, right? Like when Koundé made that horrible mistake against Rayo because he was just jogging with the ball in front of the goal. Like, I don't even have to sprint. I can jog. And then he gets the ball taken from him and Rayo score on us. And that's the problem. So we can score. Well, I'm sorry. We can sign Haaland and Jokic and every other center forward out there, and we can sign Leao, Kvaratskhelia, and Nico Williams for the left wing. If the team cannot get motivated to beat smaller clubs, it doesn't matter. Because, yes, we do need a left winger ASAP, but even without a left winger, we were able to win nonstop for 3 months by thrashings. So that's not the problem. Because if that was the problem, then we wouldn't be able to do that the first 3 months. We would still have sucked the first 3 months, but we did it because the team was hungry. The team came out every match ready to kill. They didn't care if they were playing against Madrid or if they were playing against Valladolid. They came out from first minute ready to kill, thinking I have to finish this match in the first half. And then they lost their humility and they started coming out like, it's Leganés. Who cares, bro? Got plenty of time. Let's Las Palmas. Who the fuck is Las Palmas? And look at the results. Anyways, let's get back to the news because we do have to talk about the last bit of news because it all points out, ladies and gentlemen, that we are about to see Wojciech Szczęsny's debut in just a few days. Now, as you know, the Copa del Rey is coming up. January 4th will be the first match that Barcelona will play in the Copa del Rey. It's the round of 32 against Barbastro. It's the same team, by the way, that we played against during the round of 32 last season, who almost beat us, by the way. We won 3-2 with a really late goal. Joke of a match. But anyways, hopefully that doesn't happen this year. Let's hope that players come out motivated and they don't come out thinking, oh, it's Barbastro. It's a 4th division team. Who cares? We don't even have to try because that's kind of what happened last year. And guess what? They almost eliminated us. By the way, they already eliminated, was it Girona or was it Villarreal? But they already eliminated another team from 1st division during the round of 64. So let's hope the team does not come out half asleep against them. But January 4th, round of 32 against Barbastro and Copa del Rey. And as you know, Barcelona usually have a policy of using their second goalkeeper for the Copa del Rey, and it doesn't look like that's going to change the season. It changed last season where Xavi was using Ter Stegen both for La Liga and for Copa del Rey, but doesn't look like that policy is going to change the season, and it looks like Szczęsny could very much get his debut on January 4th, which I have to say, I'm pretty excited to see what he has because before his retirement, he was one of the top 10 goalkeepers in Europe. He's played it all at the biggest stages, at some of the biggest clubs. And I'm excited to see what he has to offer. And that begs the question, will this be Szczęsny's opportunity to perhaps become La Liga's goalkeeper? Because right now, Flick has trusted Iñaki Peña because he says Iñaki hasn't given him any reason to take him off, to put him on the bench. But who knows? Maybe if Szczęsny starts stopping everything left and right in the Copa del Rey, start having some crazy saves, which he's had plenty in his career, then who knows? Maybe Flick might think, well, maybe we should give this guy a try in the first division. Now, the only thing about Szczęsny is it was never really a goalkeeper that's good with his feet, because, not many goalkeepers are good with their feet, because not many clubs require their goalkeepers to be good with their feet, right? Barcelona is one of the very few clubs that require that, because Barcelona like to build plays starting with a goalkeeper, which is insane in the world of football. It's kind of like suicide. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll see how Szczęsny does in his debut. We'll see how Szczęsny does in the Copa del Rey, and we'll see whether that will be enough to convince the German coach to use them in La Liga. All right, that was all the news for this podcast. Let's look at what all of you are saying in the comment section. And then, my friends, we will end it. There's another video coming, by the way, another news video later tonight. Chris says, hey, Mo, happy to see you, a big YouTuber. And to the viewers, hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your comment. And yes, hit the like button and subscribe. Hitting the like button is huge, by the way. It's huge. It's huge. The more likes a video gets, it prompts the YouTube algorithm to recommend the video to people who've never seen the channel. So it helps a lot. And guess what? It's free. You don't have to pay to like the video. And you don't even have to do much. You just got to click done. All right. Not the Gamer says, I feel like Nkunku is another Dani Olmo or Gotinha in the sense of he's a 10 who can play on the wing, but his best position is 10. Fair enough. Again, I've only seen a few highlights of Nkunku. I've never really seen a full match, so I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. So yeah, I want to hear you guys' thoughts. So please let me know. So Not the Gamer, thank you, my friend, for your opinion. And football 90 minutes says Barcelona on 51 minutes ago. In just over a week's time, winter transfer window will open. One of the focuses will be on players whose deals are expiring at the end of the season. As for January, my understanding is that there will be no signings during this winter transfer market. There also won't be anyone offloaded. Why? Because Barcelona have no financial fair play margin. Barcelona are negative 60 million on their financial fair play. That means in order to achieve the 1-to-1, they would have to make 60 million euros somehow, whether it be selling players, signing the VIP seats deal, which would generate 200 million, doing the Barca Vision deal. They would have to generate 60 million in order to achieve the 1-to-1 rule. So right now, the priority for the winter transfer market is to register Dani Olmo and Pau Victor. And as far as offloading, there's no plan to offload players because Flick and Deco believe that offloading players halfway through the season would only mean weakening the squad, especially with the calendar that's about to get more hectic. The calendar was already hectic in Barcelona. We're only playing two competitions, La Liga and the Champions League. Now we're going to add Copa del Rey and the Spanish Super Cup. So the calendar's only going to get more hectic. So Barcelona not looking to sign, not looking to offload, unless some crazy offer comes for someone that Flick doesn't really use. Like, I don't know, some club comes and says 30 million for Eddie Garcia. Then maybe Barcelona would consider it. But otherwise, no plans to offload or sign. Isaac says, getting Nkunku, if it is free with our current predicament, we can't be pickers. I say go for Nkunku. It wouldn't be free, it would be a loan. Now, we don't know if Chelsea would want a loan fee or not. We'll see. As far as we can't be pickers, that's how we got in this mess to begin with. I'm a strong believer that this is FC Barcelona, one of the greatest clubs ever. And Barcelona did not become one of the greatest clubs on its own. It didn't just, poof, we're great. When John Gamper on November 29th, 1899 started the club, Barcelona wasn't great. It was nobody. The way Barcelona became great is because great players came to the club and made it great. Players like Messi, like Xavi, Iniesta, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, Cruyff, Kuala, Stoikov, Koeman. Those players made Barcelona great. Barcelona wasn't born great. Barcelona didn't become great on its own. It was made great because great players came to the club and made the club great. How do we stay great? Is by having more great players come here and continue doing great things. Because just because Barcelona is a great club doesn't mean it gets to stay a great club. If for the next 10 years we don't win a single La Liga, no one's going to say Barcelona is a great club. People are going to say Barcelona was a great club. It was a has-been. It's a has-been, right? The only way to stay great is for more great players to come here and do great things. So this whole is we can't be pickers or choosers or whatever. I think it's straight up bullshit. Unless you want to see Barcelona just continue. Like the reason we haven't been great since 2016 is because our squad was getting older and older. And instead of bringing great players to replace those older players, we were bringing players like Malcolm and Braithwaite and Nelson Semedo. And that's why we haven't been great in so many years, because we were signing bums. So this whole, just bring whoever, I don't think so. Unless you want your club to continue being humiliated and not being great. So that's my 2 cents. Let's see. Blaurana says Balde is only speedy left back. That's all. His crossings and shoot is crap. Plus his decisions are bad. He needs compensation. Look, I think Balde has plenty of room to improve. I think he has speed and dribbling. He does have to improve on his crossing and shots, but I think he'll get even better once he has a left winger to back him up. Agua says, Mo, what are you talking about? Lewandowski being the top scorer in La Liga. It's really making me think different. This guy is just a minus to the team. Imagine Rafinha coming from the right or left. I mean, what do you mean? What am I talking? Lewandowski is literally the top scorer of La Liga. I'm not making that up. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. He scored the most goals in La Liga. He has scored the most goals in the Champions League. You don't get to do that when you're a minus. So I don't know. I don't know what you want me to tell you. All right, let's see. Me now Mansion says, why are we looking at Ta with 4 or 5 center backs already in the squad? Because it looks like some of them are going to leave, right? Flick has already opened the door for Eddie Garcia to leave, and Christensen looks like he wants to leave because he's looking for, a primary role, and he's seen that with the rise of Iñigo and Cubarsí, with Araujo being ahead of him, that most likely he's going to be a sub, and he doesn't want to be a sub. He's going towards the end of his contract. His career. He's 28. Pretty soon he's not going to have the luxury of choosing wherever he goes. So he thinks this is his time to look for another place where he can be a starting center back. So if Eric leaves, if Christensen leaves, that only leaves us with 3 center backs, right? Cubarsí, Iñigo, and Araujo. You ideally want 4, 2 starters, 2 subs. So that's why Ta would be looking to come. Miles New World Order says, I'm telling you, Mo, stats have destroyed football knowledge. New players can get an assist, and they'll be calling him a playmaker. A player get 1 goal, and they're calling him the best player. I agree 100%. And that's the problem, right? And I've talked about this before. This is why I've always said very clearly, if you want to understand whether a player is good or not, you have to look at both the quantitative and the qualitative analysis of the player. Quantitative is goals and assists, numbers, right? Qualitative is things you cannot measure with numbers. Things like the player's intelligence, how he sees the field, how he interprets plays, his positioning. And most people don't do the latter. They don't know how to do a qualitative analysis, right? They only know how to do quantitative, because quantitative is easy. Anybody can do quantitative analysis, right? Even a 5-year-old can do a quantitative analysis. Player A has 9 goals. Player B has 5. Therefore, A is better than B. Done, right? Anybody can do that analysis. But very few people in the world can do qualitative analysis. That's why we pay scouts and sporting directors and coaches so much money, because they're some of the very few people who can do this the best way. Most people don't. And that's a problem, of course, because then people, since they don't know how to do qualitative, they only rely on the quantitative, right? Oh, this guy has this many goals. And, right, last season, Rafinha was horrendous. People would come to the channel. Oh, he scored 10 goals. And what's his contribution on the field? Do you see how he's always losing the ball? Do you see how he's just running like a headless chicken and not doing anything else? This season, absolutely amazing. By the way, since you guys like some numbers so much, just look at his numbers. He's already surpassed by far all his numbers from his last season, and we're not even halfway through. So I guess he wasn't good last season. Now people, oh, you're wrong because Rafinha's doing great now. It means you were wrong about him last season. Another something that makes zero sense. It's like, so because he's good now, I'm wrong about him being bad last season. How does that make any sense? It's like saying, oh, it's raining outside. And then you watch the video the next day when it's sunny and you're like, Mo, it's sunny. So that means you were wrong that yesterday was raining. No, yesterday was raining. Now it's not. Last season, Rafinha was good. Wasn't good. Now he is. The fact that I have to explain these things, it makes me lose hope with the future. Carlos says, even though we have lost games are exciting to watch, even against Atletico. That game was exciting. I really enjoyed it. Rafinha taking on defenders is great. Didn't see that at all last year. I agree with you. Again, that's why after the Atletico Madrid match, I know a lot of people were pissed because we had lost. And I said, I'm actually not mad because Barcelona did great. They had a great performance. They dominated. We were unlucky because we couldn't convert any of our chances, but we did great. The problem was the previous matches where we didn't do great, and that's why we dropped points. Had we not dropped points, had we played the same way we played against Atletico Madrid, I can guarantee you we would have beat Leganés 5-0. We would have beat Las Palmas 5-0, but the team didn't, right? And that's the problem. Atletico Madrid match wasn't the problem. You know, you expect to lose against big teams like Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid. The problem is when you play like shit against small clubs and you drop points there, because that's where leagues are lost, against small clubs, not against the big ones. Because if you do your job and you beat the other 17 smaller clubs twice, you just won, what is that? 34 of your matches times 3. That's 102 points. And you can lose both matches against Madrid, both matches against Atletico Madrid, and still be champion. But when you have it backwards and you just get motivated to beat Madrid and Atletico Madrid, you can win all 4 matches 2-2 and then lose against small clubs. You're going to lose a championship. So that was the problem. It was the matches against Leganés and Las Palmas, not against Atletico Madrid, because the team actually did really well. And a loss, you expect to lose against those teams. You don't expect to lose against Leganés. The Matrix says Barcelona ain't ruthless. Bayern, Real Madrid, Leverkusen, Atalanta, Liverpool are teams that are ruthless. You give them 10 chances, they take 7. I disagree. I think Barcelona are when they want to. The first 3 months, we were ruthless. We were winning each game by 5-0, 5-1, Valladolid 7-0, Madrid 4-1, Bayern 4-0, Bayern 4-1. We were ruthless. The problem is when a team doesn't get motivated against smaller teams and then they stop being ruthless. That's the problem. And again, Barcelona have scored the most goals in La Liga, 50, more than any club. Well, I guess it's 51 now. And it's the highest scoring club in the Champions League. So I wouldn't say they're not ruthless. The problem is they're not always ruthless. The problem is sometimes they're motivated and they come out being ruthless. And sometimes they're like, we're just going to jog because it's a small club. Who cares about Leganés? Who cares about Las Palmas? Kurt says, hey, Mo, good night. Ever since I'm watching football, Barca's my team. I'm not going to chastise Lewy, but I think if he had at least scored one of those chances, we would have won the game. The problem with Lewy against Atletico Madrid was he was never in the box. He actually didn't miss that much. He had one big miss where Ferran crossed the ball to him, but that was offside. So that didn't even count. The big misses came from Rafinha, who missed 2, Fermin, who missed 1, Gabi, who missed 1. The big misses came from other players. The problem with Lewy against Atletico Madrid was that he was never in the fucking box. And that was frustrating me so much. And I'm like, dude, you're a striker. You shine when you're in the box. Stay in the fucking box. I lost the count of how many times I saw Lewy playing next to Casado, a defensive midfielder. What the fuck are you doing as a striker next to the defensive midfielder? Get your fucking ass to the fucking box where you're supposed to be. It was so frustrating. Horrible match by Lewy against Atletico. He should have been subbed at the halftime, not even at the 60th minute, at the halftime. But it wasn't because of his misses that he sucked. He sucked because he wasn't even in the box to be able to miss the ball to begin with. Motherfucker was in the midfield. Anyways. go to football. Nobody's talking about Pedri injury crisis. Bro has played every game and given his best performance ever in a Barca shirt. I pray he continues fit. That's a good point. That's a good point. Pedri has been playing a lot. Pedri Potter, 100%. I think Pedri this season is just absolutely out of this world. And to think people were like last season and even beginning of the season, there was some guy who used to always like spam the comment section. Pedri's garbage. Pedri's trash. Pedri's garbage. Eventually, I remember at that time I had hired a someone to monitor the chat, and they blocked him because he kept spamming. I'm like, to say Pedri is trash, at that point, I recommend a different sport. Maybe golf. I don't know. Matt says when he stays in the box, you guys say Lewa doesn't help with the build-up, playing, offers nothing. And now I've actually never said that. I am totally for Lewandowski staying in the box, and that's it. I would never want Lewandowski to help with the build-up because Lewandowski is not that kind of player. Lewandowski is not the kind of player that helps you with the build-up. Lewandowski is the kind of player that stays in the box. He gets the ball in the box and he scores. That was the same prime Lewy. That was exactly that player. In Bayern Munich, he had Thomas Muller crossing him balls left and right, and he would score them. At Barca at the beginning of the season, we had Lamine Yamal doing the same for him, and he would score them. I'm not looking for Lewy to help with the build-up. I just want Lemmy to stay put in the box, wait for those crosses or those passes from behind, and just score. That's his profile. Lewy is not he's a classic striker. He's a classic center forward, a box predator, what they call a box predator. Someone who stays in the box, gets the ball, scores it. That's it. You cannot expect more than Lewy. If you expect more, if you expect him to grab the ball and dribble it past defenders, if you expect him to help you with the build-up, then you don't know what Lewy's profile is. Tito says, hey, Mo, have you heard anything about Cancelo wanting to come back to Barca? What are your thoughts? He can wait as much as he wants. I would recommend he waits sitting down. Otherwise, he's going to get tired because Cancelo just doesn't have the consistency to be a Barca player. And finally, Nee says, the season is still young. We have to gather strength to bounce back after the break. Amen, my friend. I hope Barcelona hit the reset button. Mentally speaking, they need it big time. Hopefully these days of, being off with their families, help them, get re-engaged because we need to start 2025 strong, and we need to continue being strong, and we need to end being strong. It's not just starting strong. You have to stay consistent. All right, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in, for watching, your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, your donations. You guys are absolutely amazing. The best YouTube community in all of YouTube. I will be uploading another video in an hour or two. More news. As always, there's more news. So stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, peace, God.